The Good Buddies Anime Podcast is hosted by two rowdy, foul-mouthed American cowboys. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, Good Buddies, what's up, and welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Show. I am your good buddy, Roger.
And I am your good buddy, Brandon.
And Brandon, what we did this week, let me tell you a little about it. You know what we did. We told everybody already, but I'm going to tell you again. Brandon has chosen an anime for me. I have chosen an anime for him. And we're going to watch these animes. Now, for the first one, Brandon watched the anime that I chose for him. Brandon, what was it?
It's an anime called, and I'm probably going to say it wrong because we were just saying, I don't know if it's Magus or Magus, but it's The Ancient Magus's Bride.
Yeah, I say Magus's Bride.
Magus's?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yes, a show that I had heard a lot about. I had heard it was pretty good.
I think it came out in 2018.
Something like that. Yeah. 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. One that you had told me was very good. And then every time I look it up, it's like, it's about a girl who sells herself into slavery. And I'm like, I don't think about. So I was challenged. I watched it. I rather enjoyed it. We're going to talk about it. I would like to first say, we will get into the story. And I'll tell you right now, I think I'm probably going to take point on this one since I'm the one that watched it for the first time. And we're going to get spoiler out of the gate. So if you don't want that spoiled for you, go ahead and watch it and then come back, I guess. I would also like to say this show deals a lot with a person.
There's no way we can spoil it all for you, though.
We can't spoil it all. But this show does involve a person who is very depressed, and there is some suicidal ideation in this show. I would like to start this episode by saying, please, if you ever feel like you might not want to be around or you might want to hurt yourself or do anything drastic, please talk to someone first. This is an issue that we've talked about before and we both take very seriously.
Yeah.
So
very seriously.
Just
also, don't sell yourself for $5 million.
I mean, if you can get some of that money, maybe, but no, don't sell yourself. That's bad. We don't buy and sell people. But yes, that's what I wanted to say, and I said it. And thank you very much. How do you want it? We're not doing a full-on review. We're just gonna talk about it.
Dude, let's just talk about it.
All right, let's just talk about it. So
let's go over. Let's do it like this. Some of the things that I thought that would make you not want to watch it. Some of the things going into it was obviously, the girl selling herself into, whether
I'm not with it.
It is a very strong premise. It's off-putting, but the show does it. It's really,
it handles it as well as it can. I think.
It really does.
Because the thing is, it uses that as a device to get these characters together, and the thing is, it also feeds into Chise's whole story. Chise is the girl. She is like 14, 15. And the whole thing is she is woefully depressed to the point that she has, almost taken her own life. She has no family. Everyone who ever was near her is gone. She is completely at the beyond rock bottom. She does not feel like her life has literally any value. And so she ends up putting a literal value on it. She's like, I have nothing to do with my life. I'm just going to let someone else do it.
Yeah.
And
essentially she just kind of wants a warm home.
Little does she know is that she is what's called a sleighbeggy, which is someone who's sensitive to magical energies and whatnot and can see certain things. She knows she can see them. I don't know if she knows what that means or how rare that is. But it turns out she's worth money.
Yeah.
And there is a brief bidding war before she is snatched up by Elias Ainsworth, who's a very weird skull face man, who's not a man. He's like, they call him the half thing. He's like half half human something. Not sure what's going on with him. Maybe we'll find out. But yeah, the whole selling yourself thing, I'm not into that. The fact that, I'm not into age gap romances. How about a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, and a literal, like hundreds of years old ancient being?
What is arguably probably like a timeless entity?
Yes, very much so. There's a lot this show has going against it in my book. And yet, I had a good time.
Yeah.
What do you think? What is it about this you thought I would like? I would like to know.
What did I think that you would like?
Yes.
I actually thought that, first I thought you would love the art style and how whimsical the world is.
It's quite pretty and the world is quite whimsical, yes.
I also thought that, I genuinely did think that you would like the story they were trying to tell.
let's talk about that, because the story as it was described to me and what I had read and what you had told me is that this is a story about an ancient being who does not understand humanity and a girl who is magical but does not understand that, and it's about him teaching her magic and her teaching him humanity.
Yep.
I was lied to. That is not what this is. That is not what this is.
I mean, that's the very...
There's parts of that.
Yeah.
That's a very general statement. The whole her teaching him humanity, there's like maybe 2 bits where he's like, when you were gone, the house was so cold, even though it's summertime.
Yeah, but...
And she's like, oh, were you lonely?
So
is that what that is?
It's the course of the interactions altogether.
Sure. Here's what I think this story is, if I may.
Go ahead.
From my perspective, having just slammed through 24 episodes of this bitch, this is a story about a girl finding her own value, overcoming her trauma in some very real and heavy ways.
I'm pretty sure I did say that it dealt heavily with self-worth and stuff like that.
But like that isn't the like the prime like area that I was led to believe, not by you necessarily, but also by reviews and stuff I'd read. That's not exactly where I was led to believe this is going. The whole like them being involved, they're not particularly romantic.
Yeah.
They become very close. But like it's not really I honestly like this would be a very different show, but I feel like you could make this without Elias and it would be a good show too.
Sure.
He doesn't have to be there. There doesn't have to be any kind of like romance or them together angle at all. If it's just a story about this girl overcoming her trauma, then that's great. He is certainly part of the catalyst that does that, but mostly, my dude, like the bits where it's them together, and it's mostly like him teaching her some magic stuff, showing her magic stuff, saving her from things when stuff gets really bad, her saving herself from things when stuff gets really bad. That's nice. Mostly what he does is just kind of beyond being a Deus Mage Machina who like comes out and, you know, solves a problem. Not that that's all he does. He also throws little tantrums and almost kills her a couple times.
Whoops.
And that brings me to the point I really want to make right here. Here's the thing, and you may or may not agree with this. Lord knows I've found people, I did a search for this, and I found people online who agree and disagree with the thing I'm about to say. The people that disagree did not make very salient points, I thought. This is Twilight. This is Twilight. This show is Twilight.
I never watched Twilight.
I know.
I saw the first movie.
I'm sure you didn't, but here's the thing about Twilight is it's about a vampire boy and a teenage girl. The vampire's quite old and ancient and mystical and magical. There's a bunch of weird magical shit going on in that show. And then he almost kills her a couple times. And then, you know, she, in one way or another, here's one. She gets into some real trouble where, oh, this is going to kill her. I don't want to lose her. This is terrible. So Twilight boy, the vampire boy, and her other friend, who's a dog person, a werewolf, get together and decide we need to kill someone to fix this. Which is also what happens in this show when she becomes cursed. Mm-hmm. So it's different and I like it much better, but it is Twilight. And I can't not think that now. I will say this on the list.
Thankfully, I'm not very familiar with Twilight.
That's fine. Hey, don't get acquainted. This is better than Twilight.
I saw the first movie. I thought it was terrible.
The last one's kind of fun because there's a big war with the vampires.
Okay.
Kind of. But so here's the thing is on the list of like this person's much older and weirdly magical and there's a younger person that they are involved with. It definitely goes Ancient Magus Bride on top, Twilight way below that, and then way down here I'm going to put Phantom of the Opera because I just don't like it. Music's good. Okay. But yeah, it is Twilight. And that's okay.
Well, can it be Phantom of the Opera?
No, Phantom of the Opera sucks. The music's good, but the story is like I've talked about this before. I don't need to get into it. The Phantom's a fucking incel and I hate him. He's a piece of shit. Fuck the Phantom. But yes, I did enjoy the show. And if the worst thing I can say about it is that it's fairly similar to Twilight, hey, there's worse shows out there.
Yeah. Yeah, it resolves and handles issues pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think, dude, whenever it comes to like trying to explain the show to you or anybody else, it's really hard. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this show.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of stuff and a lot of themes, and it's really hard to kind of put it into one generalized thing, especially if you haven't watched it for like me 2 years. So, you know, I took what I, you know, kind of remembered from it, and a lot of it came back even with the couple episodes I watched to refresh myself. My wife is definitely very interested in watching it now.
Oh, yeah. You said you watched the first couple episodes.
Only first couple.
You did not get to episode 3, which is my favorite.
I know. I was excited, but she's like, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. Got to go to bed.
No, baby.
I'm like, okay.
You slammed out a couple last night? Was that it? Okay.
Because I was like, we absolutely have to watch this.
Yeah, episode 3 is very, very good. It was definitely my favorite. Although there is another episode later on, maybe I'll talk about in a second, like toward the end.
Episode 3 is the setup for a later on very sad episode.
Yes. There's a lot of setting up and paying off in the show, and it does it quite well.
You know, and that was another thing. Like, I couldn't outright say. Now I knew, okay, there are some moments of severe abuse in this show, and some things that are just cripplingly sad.
Yeah,
but you know, why am I going to tell you that part? That's gonna pull all the teeth out of it for you. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you didn't go full spoiler on it, but yeah, there's a lot going on here. I talked briefly last time we recorded about I think it's episode 5 where you see the backstory of like how a thing that they are trying to fix came about. Let's say, without getting all spoilery. Here comes some spoilers. This is a big one. Dude kills a lot of cats, and it's very violent and fucked up. There's like a whole thing with like the show gets bloody. It gets quite violent. It sometimes is difficult to watch. The parts that were more difficult to watch, I think, are the ones that really should be watched if you can. And those are the ones where we see Chisei confronting her past. This is getting toward the episode toward the end that really got me, because we know at the beginning, again, big spoilers here, we know at the beginning that there's some vague thing with like she has no family, and there's these flashes of like what appear to be her mother telling her that she'd wish she'd never been born and stuff like that. It's all very fucked up and sad. We get to see what actually happened with her family. There's an extended flashback bit toward the end of the series, I think like 3 or 4 episodes from the end, where you see all of that happen, how she had a happy family with a mother and father and a little brother, and they all had this power. They can see these spirits and stuff, and dad, he was the toughie who would like watch out for him. If someone got too close, he'd fuck him up. And then dad, one day he said he couldn't take it meaning me, and he just took the baby and left. And mom fell into a horrible it's very difficult to watch. This woman just falling apart trying to take care of this daughter, and there's a moment where there's this voice in her head that said, wouldn't it be easier if she wasn't around? And she says, no, that's terrible, I would never. But and she, giant spoiler obviously, almost kills her fucking daughter. She almost does it, but she stops herself just short, and then her daughter watches her kill herself. It's fucked, y'all.
Yep.
But the end of that episode, where Chisei confronts this demon, this idea of her mother, having just watched that happen, seeing her mother did stop herself short and knew that she didn't want to hurt her daughter, so she did what she felt was the right thing and hurt herself. She realizes that this idea of her mother, this evil thing that hated her and tried to kill her, that's not really who she was.
Yeah.
And there's that moment where she confronts her mother, this idea of her mother that she had, and you're watching her talk to it. And she says, I don't forgive you, but I have to let you go. And you watch her just fade away. It's fucking beautiful and so fucked up, but so beautiful. This show's good.
Yeah, I think that's what really holds this show together. The best thing about it is the story of one finding their self-worth.
Absolutely. That again, to me, that's what this is. I know, like, and I'm not gonna keep making a big deal out of it, but like the whole thing with Elias almost doesn't even need to be there.
I mean, he is the conduit to the world around her. He is the understanding of the world.
He's a man-child who throws tantrums because he
Aren't we all man-childs?
Because he has zero emotional maturity, which makes sense.
Yeah.
it makes sense when you find out like where he's from and how he came to be. You don't really get all the details. You still don't know where he is. There was a great scene where he's like, he shrinks himself to be tiny and then he's skiing and just face plants. Real funny. But like, we don't really know what his deal is. I'm hoping there's more of that because it sure seems with this OVA that is currently ongoing, maybe there's going to be another season.
Yeah, and they did touch a little bit on his backstory. And they definitely left a lot open to learn about him or him learn about himself.
They're like, he just kind of grew out of the woods.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an elemental.
Yeah, he's something, all right. Yeah, what do they call him? The Pila Martis or something. I don't remember. It's the thorn, spear wall is what it means. And he's the thorn mage and this and that. He's got like a bunch of different, the half thing is what the Fae call him. It's all these different names that he has. And
he's an awesome character, dude.
I think he's a cool character. Yeah. I'm saying that like obviously like you can watch this. I feel like this is one of those where like someone else who watches this might not get the same thing out of it that I did. But like I get a little personal with this. I really relate with Chisei, and I don't want to get into it too much, but like, hey man, I've struggled with things like that.
Sure.
You know?
Here's the thing, though.
So
dude.
that's where I come from.
This is a show. It's a harder sell with just Chisei alone.
I get that.
You gotta have. There's got to be something else. Otherwise, people don't like to watch this shit, dude. Well, I do. I get into it, and I like to explore. I like to explore my insecurities or things that I have done. I like to see other people's takes on it.
Sure.
So still, this might have been something that I would watch, but as on a grand floor of the world and trying to get out there, you need a hook.
You're absolutely right. And I actually I was watching this hypothesizing as I got toward the end. I was like, did the person who made this did they want to tell that story? And they were like, hey, this is too fucked up. It's like, all right, we'll throw some romance in there to make it.
And it's just the perfect
and
dash.
It works. It works. It does work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I love this fucking show, but I'm just saying that the core of it, it's not cruft that you need to cut away, but it is the more substantial, real part of this show for me is that. Whereas the rest of it, it works, but is it's a little fluffy.
Sure.
A little fluffy. Yeah. It's a little bit fluffy. It's a good fucking show.
Well, and you also kind of with things as dark as this show gets.
Oh yeah.
You need something to kind of cut that tension to keep you going.
Okay, so I said bore I like when they go all blobby and it does these bits where it gets it's clearly
there's good comedy in this show.
Yes, this is the funny part where I imagine most people, if they haven't seen this, they've at least seen Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah. So imagine when it kind of does that burnt thing and you see Alphonse, instead of being a detailed drawn suit of armor, is that little blobby sausage looking character.
Deformed chibi,
Yeah, he's like a chibi sausage looking suit of armor, and it's haha, that's funny. He's got a little cat mouth or whatever. That's the funny part. It does that a bunch, as the comic relief. Sometimes it's something very serious just happened, and it's well, about that, blah blah blah. It's they just do one of those, and it never doesn't work.
Yeah,
it is sometimes a bit stark how it flips. But it never doesn't work, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not that I can remember anyway, but it does happen. Some of the other characters that show up and are very funny. The Fae are pretty much always a laugh unless they're trying to kill someone. Oberon, and they say Titania. I've always heard Titania.
Yeah, that's what I say too.
I think they said Titania because she got big old titties. And she does. But Oberon and Titania show up, and Oberon's fucking hilarious, even if he's a little fucked in the head. But yeah, those characters are great. My boy Bongwater did show up again.
Yeah.
That giant lizard axolotl thing. I love him. You saw Bongwater. You saw my boy. He's in episode 2. My boy Bongwater. I call him that. Everyone else just calls him lizard or salamander.
I know. Whenever you were talking about it last week too, you were like, I hope he becomes. I think you mentioned something about him maybe becoming.
I was like, I hope he comes back. I hope he becomes a regular
I thought
character.
you were talking about him being her familiar or whatever. And I was
no.
Yeah, I was like,
there's a different familiar.
It's not. That's not him.
That's
but
Ruth.
The familiar
Ruth is cool.
We can talk about Ruth.
Ruth is cool as shit.
Yeah, he really is.
He's a Grimm. He's a real Wolfwood of a character.
Yeah.
He's very protective.
His haircut
obviously.
is so weird.
I like it.
Yeah, it's just a very it's not long, but it's not short. And it's not a bob cut, but I always looked at it. I was like, he looks like someone familiar from history.
Huh.
Like maybe a musician or somebody, but I don't know who it is.
Let me look at another picture.
I said freaking Elias's human form looks like a young William Regal.
I get that, yeah.
I don't know, man. He kind of looks like a Ramon or something.
He does a little bit, yeah. Yeah, he does kind of have that string. I think Haley might have made that joke too. She was like, "Is he in the Ramones?" Like, because he wears this like striped shirt. He's got like kind of that like just not shoulder length, just long enough to go like to his neck. Shaggy hair.
He's much more handsome than any of the Ramones.
Yeah, by a lot. He wears black pants, black jacket. Yeah, he does kind of look like a Ramone. I think Haley made that same joke. She said something about him being in the Ramones. And I was like, "Let's Creek." Yeah, it's pretty good.
He's a great character, though.
He's a good character. Yeah. He kind of... Also, he's like one of my favorite tropes, which is he's a familiar and he can jump into her shadow and hide out until he's needed, which I love that shit. But yeah, he's super cool. And boy, oh boy... the scene where he becomes her familiar or whatever, you also, that's where like you see this character earlier, but then they are introduced proper in that scene and then they come back occasionally. Cartaphilus, I believe is how it's pronounced. That's the villain. Mm-hmm. I think he also wants to be called Joseph, I can't remember, something like that. Let me look it up real quick.
I think it is right. It's like Yosef or something like that.
Yeah, so this is a thing that like he's based on this like this weird like semi-apocryphal. It's like one of those things where like, you know, there's let's say there's a story or whatever. Yes, Joseph. Also Joseph. Wants to be called Joseph. Also they call him Cartaphilus. Cartaphilus is like a real thing from history, but not a real thing. It's one of those like these weird legends surrounding things. Like you'll have like, here's the Bible and here's the stories from the Bible. And someone will be like, also this guy was there. What? It's like, yeah, it's a fun story that I made up. Okay, cool. So the story is that Jesus, as he was going into town, some fucking dude hucked a rock at him. And basically Jesus cursed this guy. He was like, the guy was basically telling him, hey, get on and get out of here or something. And Jesus was like, hey, I will get out of here and you're going to stay here until I come back. And Jesus is crucified. And this guy basically is forced to roam the earth forever until Jesus returns, until the second coming. That's the story. They actually make brief references to it in the show where they say stuff like, you'll hear people talking about this guy where they're like, yeah, they say the son of God cursed him or something. Haha, crazy. It's like, wow, they're really going for it. The show does a lot of these things with these legends and stories and different creatures from folklore where it just brings them in. That one feels a little out of left field for like to me anyway, for like the subject matter and the area that they're in. But it does work, and it's a pretty crazy villain.
I mean, it's set in England.
Yeah.
And, you know, Christianity is very, you know, like, that's like, it's not the birthplace of it, but it's where it really cultivated.
And where it morphed into a bunch of different shit.
Yeah.
Yes. But, yeah, so it makes sense you get these little apocryphal legends and tales and stuff, and that is one of them, and pretty wild villain. I kept calling him Evil Twink until they said his name. Because he looks like a fairly young boy who's very evil. Evil. But yes, Cartaphilus / Joseph, this evil twink, is the villain. You find out his whole fucking deal later on about like why he's so fucked up and shit. I don't even know we talk about the guy. He's just fucked up. He's just fucked up and he's the bad guy. There you go.
Yeah.
He does fucked up shit.
He's a good bad guy, though.
He's a pretty good bad guy. There's also another bad guy who shows up, Ashenai, who's like another Magus, who's like a fucking weirdo. This is the one that, I don't know if you remember, there's an episode where like he just shows up. I think it's literally episode 13. It's like right at the halfway point. And he's like, yes, I came to visit you and your new protege. I heard the new Magus had been born. And fucking Elias is like, dude, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, I give you a gift. And he throws a thing on her and turns her into a fox.
I remember her being a fox. I don't remember. Yeah.
Ashenai is like the co-villain because he literally, like in the final fight, he shows up and is fighting with Cardaphilus on his side. It's weird. The dude doesn't seem to be particularly malevolent. He's like that fucked up kind of fae where he just wants to play his fucked up games with you. And he is fucked up. He's like this. Let me try and describe him, see if you remember. He's like this dude, like big shawl over his face. You can't see his face at all. Like brown and like different colors. He's got like 4 arms and one of them's holding a staff. Like 4 spindly gray arms coming out of this robe. Does this sound familiar at all?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. He's a weird fucking dude. And probably the bigger villain, quite frankly, seeing how this season ends. Yeah, but wild. Just weird shit. Weird villains, weird shit. There's also like, they have these occasional like kind of monster of the week episodes that still like feed into the overall narrative, but like here's one where we have to deal with a crazy dragon thing, and here's one where we have to, you know, like I said, Cheesy gets turned into a fucking fox, and she's wandering around and like, you know, she's going to animal brain, so she doesn't know what's happening and shit like that. And it's them like trying to fix these things and find their way out of these situations. But overall, the whole thing like bleeds back to that whole them getting to know each other and her discovering her self-worth. That's the overall story, and it fucking works really good. Like really good.
It really does.
Can we talk about the music?
Yeah.
That first intro makes me cry. It's really good.
It's very good.
It's very good. The first intro, I think it's called I Am Here or something. Here. By
Yes, I Am Here.
Juna, I believe. I might be saying that wrong. But yeah, it kicks ass. Homegirl's voice, she does not need a microphone. Her voice is fucking powerful. Because there's those bits in that song where like all the music drops out, it's just negative space with her just singing and belting that shit, and it kicks ass. The song, the title of it is like one of the first things it says. It says like something like one place, one me, I am here, which that it actually like makes me cry a little bit when I hear it now. Cause like given the subject matter of this girl who like has to discover her own worth and prove to herself, has to be proven to, and then prove to herself that she is good enough to be alive. Cause she didn't believe that. For them to say, I am here, I'm me, I'm here. It's really fucking powerful.
Sure.
Really fucking powerful. Love that intro. First outro is really good. Second intro and outro are not as good as the first 2, I don't think, but they're good.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
The music during is fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
There's loads of bits where like episode 3 is a great example, where there's just an extended bit where it's just you're watching this thing happen with this beautiful music and this singing going on. Later on, at the end, I think it's like episode 11, like right at the halfway, or 12. There's another bit where oh god, I forget his name now, something with an L, but like dude who discovered and taught Ainsworth, who's taught Elias, the dragon keeper guy. He like has a bit where he's doing like a spell thing and he's singing, and it's really fucking pretty. The music in this show is incredible.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of weird. Kat, yesterday when we were watching, she doesn't particularly like the way that the show is mixed, and I love it. Yeah.
That's and she does know her music. Obviously she's hearing something.
Well, the music, so the difference is that the music is higher than a lot of the voices, especially whenever there's just music playing.
Yeah.
They turn the sound, you know, you ever seen the images of the soundboard where they just crank all those keys up?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. That's how I would compare it to like you're hearing the voices and they're both mostly Chise is very soft spoken. Yeah,
I definitely, particularly because I'm watching the dub and I'm not reading it, I did have to crank up my volume a little bit.
Elias is not so soft spoken, but it's kind of monotone.
Yeah, he's got. Is that the same voice as the guy from Legend of Galactic Heroes? I think it might be. But like he's very like just this, no matter pretty much what's going on, he's very calm. So yeah, and his voice is fairly deep, so it's sometimes hard to hear him.
So whenever music, they do scenes where it's just there's no voices or whatever, it's just music playing and world building. And the music is very loud. So if you have it turned up to 30, you're really going to feel that 30 whenever the music comes through because the voices are soft.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
soft it creates a feeling of, I think, unevenness in the mix. Even though I'm not sure that. I mean, I guess it is the case. It is uneven, but
yeah.
It's hard to explain. I like the way that it is. Personally.
I think it works very well. I really would love both of y'all to watch episode 3 so I can get her opinion on that, because that was one with like where that scene where the music takes center stage, along with the, there's no talking, it's just the music and visual, and I would love to get her reaction to that, because that shit was fucking great.
Yeah, man. It's a good ass episode.
Good
I
ass
can't
episode.
wait. I was excited. I'm like, dragons.
Yeah, man.
I love those baby dragons.
Yeah, the baby dragons running around, baby dragon. Little baby. Don't know. All right, spoiler. But yeah, man, the show's really good.
Yep.
Art and animation, we talked about it briefly. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Very whimsical. I really, the bits where like they don't come that often, mostly in the first few episodes. Episode 3, again, great example, when they give you those big sweeping like landscapes, a big like aerial view of something. Those are absolutely gorgeous. The movement and stuff during the show is very good as well. Like there's a few moments where I think like, I feel like, as often is toward the mid to later bits of the series before it gets to like the big climax and stuff, it did seem like they were bits where like I started noticing more and more like someone's talking but they're facing away so they don't have to animate it, like little cuts like that, but nothing like crazy. No one's ever off model, nothing's ever not pleasant to look at. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's just pretty.
Yeah.
It's
a beautiful show.
I like the character designs a lot. Like we already talked about Ainsworth. Chisei is red-haired and has green eyes, which, she's Japanese, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. But you find out her mom also had red hair and green eyes, so I guess she was foreign or something. They don't really explain that, and apparently in the manga, you don't even see her mom does not look like that, or they don't show her mom. It hasn't been confirmed or something. I don't know. That's what I read. So I have
the manga at the store.
Yeah. I have to check that out. But yeah, even like the other characters show up. Here's the thing: this is not the type of show I would expect a lot of fan service from, and there's not a lot of fan service. But we already said Titania got them big old titties. There's also this not a vampire or succubus, but kind of like that shows up, and she's just in bra and panties the whole time. That's a good old time. Hey.
Yeah.
It's
always nice to have a little,
I'm looking at butt crack. I'm seeing butt crack. That's fine. Definitely not the type of show I would expect to have that. And it's never like super in your face with it, but it is like, this is meant to be a seductive character, so we're gonna draw her like that.
Yeah.
Drink it in, man. But Jesus, Roger. Oh no, he's eating the microphone. But yeah, the character designs are really good. There's other characters show up, the alchemists that work, that are at first appear to be antagonists and then kind of get a weird, like, kind of working together kind of thing. I love their designs. Chisei goes shopping with the girl. She's fun. Yeah, it's
Bong
like
water.
Bong water's amazing. I love bong water. The woolly bugs are great.
Oh yeah.
Look, if you Google Ancient Magus Bride woolly bug, you're gonna find some plushes for sale, and I want all of them. They're very cute. they just floating around going, mee. They're so cute.
Yeah. The show builds.
Imagine a sheep with dragonfly wings, and that's what we're talking about. It's very good.
The show builds such a good world.
Yeah.
That feels full of unique life.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything in here that like other than what the point I've already made, that like you could make this show about just Chisei, but again, that would be kind of a hard watch. There's nothing in here that I think like you really could have dropped those couple episodes. You know? I feel like it all works. It all feeds into each other very well. It's just good shit. Anything else to talk about? Like, we're not gonna rate it.
Yeah. What would you rate it? I'd probably give this a solid 9 if I had to. It's
definitely up there. It's at least an 8.5, probably a 9.5. It's really fucking good.
I would recommend it to pretty much anybody to watch.
It's definitely one of those.
It's just a hard sell, trying to.
It's incredibly hard. That's the problem. Like, I even tried to tell my buddy Trey about it, who I talked about anime with. He actually just told me he watched Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop that I told him about before, and he was like, "Dude, it's fucking incredible, great movie." I'm like, "Hell yeah, it is." I tried to tell him about this one, and he was like, "Hey, that sounds awful." And I was like, "Yeah, you gotta trust me, baby."
Well, did you try telling him about Domestic Girlfriend yet?
No.
Do you think he'd watch it?
Can I tell you? All right, here's my little sidebar. So, have you heard of Hurdle? Have I told you about Hurdle?
No.
So you know Wordle.
Yeah.
The game where you try to guess the word. You get 5 guesses. So Hurdle is basically name that tune. It plays you 1 second of a song. You have to guess the song. If you don't get it, plays 2 seconds of the song, then 4 seconds, etc., up to like 15 seconds. I love Hurdle. There are several different versions of Hurdle. There is an anime Hurdle that just plays intros, outros, and other songs from animes. And there's one the other day that's like, okay, play 1 second, silence. Okay, well that's nothing. There's, drums are gonna come in, guitar's gonna come in, something. Okay, 2 seconds, silence. And I'm like, what is that? It could be anything. I'm not sure what this is. Let me get the next bit. Silence. Misaku. And I was like, no fucking way! It's fucking Domestic Girlfriend. It was fucking Domestic Girlfriend. I was like, God damn it! God damn it! Roger, no!
Song fucking whips ass.
It does whip ass!
Tell your boy Trey about a Domestic Girlfriend.
I'm not going to.
You're scared he'll watch it.
I'll let you. Hey, if you ever come up to the Target to buy a video game or something, and he happens to be out like, hey, Roger, tell Trey about that fucking shit. I'm not gonna tell him about that shit.
I'm like, me and Brandon both watched it. We both scored it very high.
I did not score it that high. Brandon finished
the whole thing.
I did not score it very high. How dare you? I feel like it was mid to maybe on the little bit higher because I knew you liked it. I don't know. I don't remember what I rated it.
I don't know, man. I think you rated it a little bit lower than what you wanted to. But
I will not hide my biases.
That's neither here nor here than there. You know the saying that I'm trying to go for. I'm trying to transition past this so we can get into the ramble.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
You ain't gonna fool me twice.
Yeah, you get fooled. Can't get fooled again.
The curious GWB.
I'm glad you got that. But yes, anyway, Ancient Magus' Bride is difficult. I think it is a hard sell, certainly. I don't think it's difficult to recommend. It's difficult to to get people to understand how good it is.
Like when you recommend something, a lot of times, almost, I would say 95% of the time, they're going to be like, well, what's it about?
There's just so much instant pushback, right?
Yeah.
Like everything about it, like that when you described it to me, I was like, no, that sounds awful.
Yeah, well, let me start.
And then I loved it.
Just hear me out. They
won't hear you out.
This girl is going to sell herself in the first episode.
Wow. Like, I'm instantly out. There's another show that you told me that someone buys a person in the first episode, and you were like, dude, it's great. And I was like, I don't think so. And I ended up not liking it.
I don't remember what show it was.
But
yes.
Yeah, it's not. We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
This show's good. It's definitely, again, hard to recommend, I think, but it's very good. I don't know that I could recommend it to just anyone. I unlike you.
Yeah.
But
I would try.
Yeah, I think it's at least an 8.5. It's probably a 9.
I think anybody that gives it a chance is going to be pleasantly surprised with the show.
It is at least
maybe shockingly surprised.
It is at least an extremely high, and most definitely.
Yeah.
It is almost certainly an amazing.
Yeah, man. I definitely. I put it on par with classics like the first season of Violet Evergarden, stuff like that. Domestic Girlfriend, whatever.
Jesus. Mob Psycho, Sarah's on my, just other shows I like.
Yeah.
Jesus, Roger. But yeah, this show's really good, and I enjoyed it. And I actually find myself, since I know that this current OVA was the Ancient Magus' Bride and the Night of the Blue Storm.
Something, yeah.
Night of the Blue Storm, I think. The Boy and the Night of the Blue Storm, I think is what it's called.
The Boy!
The Boy! My boy! Yeah, I'm hoping, since it is getting an OVA, which is ongoing right now, maybe that means something for the future, because I've seen, in doing a little bit of research about this, I saw people talking about the college arc of the manga, I guess, and this one starts with her she's older, she is taller, literally fucking the first episode of this new OVA, Elias is like, oh, you used to only come up to here on me. It's like she's grown tall and she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. She's like studying, getting ready for college. Could this lead into a second season? Golly, I hope so, because I'd love to see more.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
It would be really cool. And what incredible timing for us if it does.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. I like it a lot. Yeah. I like it a whole lot.
It's a good watch.
Incredibly more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, great show.
Now, Brandon, let's switch gears. Tell them what you want me to watch.
I would like you to watch something that is not 24 episodes long, first of all. It's only 12.
Yeah. To be fair, I said you did not have to watch all of them.
Oh, but I did.
Yeah.
Because it was good. I would like it if you watched all of these, but I don't know that you will. Is one
I'm going to make it through all of these.
Okay.
Magic Sprite I've already seen, so I wasn't, terribly.
Yeah, you weren't like
bent on it.
super hardcore on it, yeah. But we'll see. Now the problem is you got Kat into it, so she's gonna want to finish this one before she lets you watch anything. That's your problem.
That's okay.
That's your problem. But
we just have to watch a couple here, a couple there.
A show that was airing, I want to say either right when or like the winter after we started doing the Good Buddy anime show.
2019.
It's somewhere around there. I want to say 2019. Yeah. No, we were doing this before that. We did this like.
We started in 2018.
Yeah. So I think it was 2018.
We started around there. Probably around spring 2018.
Somewhere in there.
So if it was a winter season, it would have to be winter 2019.
Or it was like, again, it might have been the year we started, so we had already like missed part of it. But anyway, a show that I very much enjoyed, having watched it later that year, and I was really bummed out that I watched it so late because it did not make my anime of the year list, I don't believe. But incredible show, little bit sad, but a really great slice of life / coming of age story. It is called A Place Further Than the Universe.
It's about those Antarctica girls.
Yes, this is, again, premise sounds kind of dumb. It's about a bunch of girls who want to do a big trip before, school's over and they don't get to see each other anymore. So the one girl's like, hey, you guys want to go to Antarctica? What the fuck are you talking about? It's great. So it's a show about them training to and then going to Antarctica. And it's a really, again, I think one of the best like coming of age stories I've ever seen. I know I've said that before. I think about this. I might have said it about Sarah Zonmai too. It's an incredible coming of age story. Just watching these girls, how they grow and become who they are, and learning what you do about them. I will admit, gets a little sad. I know Roger's not super into the sad shit.
Okay, it's okay. I can endure.
Particularly the last episode, had me ugly crying, because it's good. And this is one that like I remember loving when it first came out. I'm a couple years removed now, so I'm looking forward to rewatching it, and I hope you enjoy it, Roger. But that is what I want to talk about next time.
Okay.
And that is on Crunchyroll. We also are going to have to start getting ready for new season stuff. Or maybe, because some stuff's wrapping up. We'll maybe talk about that briefly in our very short ramble we're going to do. A very short ramble we're going to do. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. I really look forward to it. A Place Further Than the Universe.
Antarctica Girls. Well, I guess this is growing up. You
stupid asshole. Shut the hell up. Anyway, yes, that's going to happen. That's what we're going to talk about next time. Look forward to that. In the meantime, thank you so much for checking out this episode.
Yes.
If you would like to tell us how you felt about Ancient Magus' Bride or any other shows.
Or if you're thinking about watching it. Because we didn't spoil that much, actually.
I had dropped some pretty big spoilers about some stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole lot in this show.
There is a lot more to it than just what I said, but we did drop some. I dropped some huge fucking spoilers.
Bombshells.
But that's me, baby. I said it was going to be big spoilers.
Bombshell Brandon.
And I fucking delivered. I'm a man of my word. So yes, we are going to bust on out of here. Check out the links in the description to all our different stuff. We'll link at the end of the short ramble. And I think that about does it. We good?
That does it, dude.
All right. Click that bell, like, subscribe, 5 stars on whatever podcast app you're listening to. Leave a comment. We love you so much. Love ya.
Love ya.